Hey, what is up everybody? It's Animac here for AnimeUproar, and in this video we will be talking about two of the most powerful quirks in the world of Boku no Hero. Two quirks that in many ways shaped the hero society into what it is today. One of these quirks belongs to the protagonist of the story, Izuku Midoriya, and of course it used to belong to All Might before he passed it on to Deku. The other belongs to the arch-villain of the series, the mysterious mastermind behind the League of Villains, and the man Shigaraki calls Master. This villain goes by the name All for One, which is a name that he shares with his quirk, and he was finally properly introduced in Season 3 of the anime. This video will explain the origins of both One for All and All for One, how the two are connected to each other, and what is the true extent of their power. I hope that having all of that info here in one place will be useful to you, and if you like this type of content, you can let me know by leaving a like. If you happen to be new, feel free to subscribe and Detroit smash that notification bell. This video will include some spoilers from the manga, although mostly just the stuff that's going to be covered in Season 3 of the anime. If you're cool with that, then let's get into it. Let's start with One for All, which is the quirk that we know more about because we've been learning about it since the beginning of the story. One for All is an emitter-type transferable quirk that works at close range, and it was possessed by 7 other people in the past before being passed on from All Might to Deku, the 9th and current user. In order to transfer the quirk, the current user must give it up willingly, and the transfer occurs once the new user consumes something that contains the DNA of the previous user, such as one of their hairs. Once the quirk is transferred from one person to another, the one who transfers it can still make use of some leftover embers, which is why All Might can use the power despite having already transferred the quirk to Deku. Nevertheless, the old user cannot keep using the quirk forever, and the leftover embers will eventually be extinguished. Although this process of losing the power completely seems to be sporadic and it appears to take some time. One for All gives its user superhuman strength, agility, speed, reflexes, and stamina. The full extent of One for All's power is still somewhat of a mystery, such as when Deku was able to break through the control of Hitoshi Shinso's quirk during the tournament arc. And this happened because apparently the previous users of One for All who are now deceased were somehow able to awaken inside of Deku and help him break through Shinso's mind control. This type of thing was never fully explained, so again there are some mysteries to One for All that we're still not aware of. Despite its immense power, One for All has some drawbacks, such as the fact that until the quirk is mastered, it will cause serious damage to the user's body. But All Might's power and strength demonstrates that once the quirk is mastered, it becomes incredibly potent and powerful. All Might tells us that to activate One for All, the user must clench their buttocks and scream "SMASH" within their heart, which is easily one of the best possible ways to activate a superpower in any work of fiction. Because it stockpiles power, One for All seems to get more powerful as it is passed on from one person to another, although this is not directly confirmed yet. We do know that none of the 7 users of One for All prior to All Might were able to take down the villain All for One. But once All Might gets the power, he is able to defeat All for One on 2 separate occasions, which might indicate that One for All gets stronger with each new user. And speaking of All for One, this mysterious arch-villain is actually the creator of the One for All quirk. One for All is a unique quirk because it is in fact a combination of 2 different quirks. A quirk that stockpiles power and a quirk that allows quirks to be willingly transferred from one person to another. And this leads us to another quirk, a quirk known as All for One. All for One allows its user to steal the quirks of others and then use them himself. And this includes combining multiple quirks at once to create incredibly destructive attacks. Not only that, but All for One also allows its user to transfer stolen quirks onto other people. Many generations ago, there were 2 brothers. The older brother was the villain known as All for One, and the younger brother was a timid man who was believed to have been born quirkless. Because everyone thought that the younger brother had no quirk, All for One decided to transfer a quirk that stockpiles power into his younger brother. However, the younger brother did have a hidden quirk that never manifested, so he was not aware of it. But this quirk allowed him to willingly transfer his quirk from himself onto someone else. This is how the quirk One for All was created. It is a combination of the stockpiling quirk that All for One transferred into his younger brother, and the younger brother's hidden quirk that gives him the ability to pass his quirk on to others. The older brother, All for One, eventually became the most powerful villain in Japan, and the younger brother decided that he had to fight against his brother's evil plans. He was not able to defeat All for One on his own, but he transferred his quirk to the next generation, and this process continued for what we assume was decades, until finally All Might, the 8th user of One for All, was able to defeat All for One, at least for now. Because of its ability to steal the quirks of others, All for One is one of the most dangerous quirks in the world of Boku no Hero. Some of the individuals who have had their quirks stolen by the quirk known as All for One are left in a vegetative state similar to a coma. And some who receive stolen quirks from All for One are unable to handle them and they turn into mindless creatures. However, it is possible for someone who had their quirk stolen by All for One to recover and lead a normal life without their quirk. And this was demonstrated by Wild Wild Pussycat member Ragdoll's ability to recover after losing her quirk to All for One. But if stealing quirks wasn't enough, the user of All for One can combine multiple stolen quirks in one person in order to create more powerful super quirks that would never have occurred naturally. Just imagine using All for One to create armies of super soldiers with artificially engineered quirks, which are more powerful than any naturally occurring quirks could ever be. Because of its versatile abilities, All for One is definitely one of the most dangerous and overpowered quirks in the world of Boku no Hero. The names One for All and All for One are likely a reference to the Three Musketeers, whose motto was One for All for One, referring to their sense of unity. Although this phrase has been in use even before the Three Musketeers novel was published. But in the context of Boku no Hero, there is additional meaning to these two names. One for All refers to the fact that one quirk can be passed on to multiple people, and the goal of this quirk is to help others. All for One refers to the fact that multiple quirks can be stolen and united into one person, and that person can then use them for their own ends. The villain known as All for One, the user of All for One, had used his quirk to become the most powerful villain in all of Japan, until he was finally defeated by All Might, the 8th user of One for All. In this sense, these two quirks are not only some of the most powerful quirks in existence, they are also quirks that in many ways shaped the current hero society. All for One became a criminal mastermind and created a powerful underworld that controlled many aspects of Japanese society for decades and posed a major threat to the world. However, All for One also accidentally created One for All, the quirk that eventually led to his defeat. All Might, the 8th user of One for All, became the symbol of peace, the embodiment of justice and stability in the aftermath of the chaos that All for One created in the past. All Might emerged as the symbol of peace because society was crying out for someone to give them hope and salvation after dangerous criminals like All for One threatened to plunge the world into chaos. But as All Might brought about stability as the symbol of peace, others like Shigaraki came to see the modern hero society and the symbol of peace as fake and dishonest. People like Shigaraki want to expose the values and ideas of justice in modern society as false. And Shigaraki thinks that the best way to do this is to erode public trust in heroes, and especially in All Might. In chapter 92 of the manga, All for One tells All Might that Shigaraki has been working on eroding public trust in heroes for quite a while, essentially trying to destroy the idea of the symbol of peace. So we see that not only has the struggle between One for All and All for One shaped the hero society into what it is today, but it continues to shape it as new heroes and villains emerge out of the shadows of All for One and All Might. On the one hand, Deku is All Might's successor and he has inherited One for All. And on the other hand, All for One has been looking for a new quirk to give to Shigaraki, whom he considers to be his successor. So we can see that even the next generation of villains and heroes is directly influenced by these two quirks, One for All and All for One. I think that this creates a fascinating dynamic, a really interesting duality, and I'm excited to see how this conflict will continue to play out in the future. Let me know what you guys think. Which quirk would you rather have, all for one or one for all? And which quirk do you think will ultimately prevail? Give me your thoughts down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like it, be sure to leave a like to let me know. If you happen to be new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and Detroit smash that notification bell. And if you want to give us ideas for future videos, feel free to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for all your feedback on social media and in the comments. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.